What's up, everybody? We finally have some information, official information that is, regarding the Elden Ring DLC and when we could expect a possible release date. And that is coming in the form of the quarterly report from Kadokawa. If you don't know who Kadokawa is, it is the parent company of FromSoftware, and every 3 months they write a report for their investors where they give some insights as what's going on behind the scenes and what are the actual numbers and the plans for the future. So let's take a look at the financial report. First slide is called a summary of consolidated earnings results for the second quarter of the fiscal year ending in March 31st, 2024 by business segment. And in the gaming section, which is the only one who interests us today, it writes, domestic sales for Armored Core 6, developed by FromSoftware, started off strong. Global sales are expected to grow in the second half of the year. The release timing of DLC for Elden Ring has not yet been announced, but development is proceeding smoothly. Now, don't panic, this isn't the only information we're getting today regarding Elden Ring, but it's good that we finally have confirmation, an official source that is saying that it's proceeding smoothly, so there shouldn't be massive delays. They never announced a release date, so technically they're still on schedule, even if we're almost 2 years later. It's getting kind of long, but I'm sure it's right around the corner. Alright, so now we're going to take a look at the business overview gaming segment slide. So it says the first half of the year analysis, the sales declined on a year-to-date basis from the previous year when Elden Ring significantly contributed to sales, but increased in 2Q alone due to the strong start of a new title, Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. Armored Core 6 achieved a major success with over 700,000 units sold in Japan. Current sales reflects domestic sales. Repeat sales of past titles, including Elden Ring, remain strong. And Spike Chunsoft recorded an increase in sales thanks to the new titles such as Master Detective Archives, Raincode, and repeated sales. Now, the operating profit, as a result of the above factors, profit decreased on a year-to-date basis, but significantly increased in 2Q. Now, I'm not surprised that they made less money this year than last year, because last year they released the smash hit Elden Ring, which sold over 20 million copies. So that was all within the first year of release. So now, obviously, there's going to be less sales. So many people have bought it already, but Armored Core 6 didn't bring in a lot of cash, as they mentioned 700,000 units in Japan compared to the 1 million units for Elden Ring in Japan. It shows that there's a lot of demand for Armored Core 6. Let's keep reading. Now, this is where it gets interesting. It says outlook for second half. Global sales of Armored Core 6 are expected to grow. Measures for maximizing long-term value of Elden Ring will be taken. Now, what they're talking about is the second half of this fiscal year, 2023, which ends on March 31st of 2024. Last time when I interpreted these numbers and data, I forgot that they are usually referring to the fiscal year. So what do they mean by maximizing long-term value? The only thing that can come in mind is the DLC. So if you put 2 and 2 together, I don't see a reality where the DLC will be released after March 31st, 2024. So at the maximum, we're looking at a couple months away, which is fantastic news. It's good to have confirmation in writing, although it's not explicitly said, but it is implied. Could they be talking about an anime series or a manga? Possibly, but I highly doubt it. Let's keep reading. It also says that Spike Chunsoft will release several new titles, including Shiren the Wanderer, to further increase sales and profits. The mobile game of The Eminence in Shadow will take collaborative measures with the second season of its animated title. Moving on to the next slide. Here we have the midterm management policy, strategies in each segment. And in the gaming segment, it writes, expand the game development lines, aggressively invest in the development of mobile games using our IP, and expand the scope of FromSoftware's own publishing. Now, we've been hearing rumors about that for a long time. At this point, it is pretty much confirmed that FromSoftware will publish their own games moving forward. At the moment, they publish their own games in Japan, and they do partnerships with Activision, but mainly Bandai Namco for the rest of the world. But it looks like that's about to change. And I think that it's a good thing because sometimes the publisher will have influence on the game developer, and that could be unhealthy. I'm glad that we got Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 2, but originally Miyazaki didn't want to do sequels, but Bandai Namco saw that it sold so well that they kind of really pushed him down the line of making sequels. And even though personally I really love Dark Souls 3 especially, it seems that FromSoftware really shines when they do brand new IPs such as Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring. They all have a unique flair. So that's why I strongly believe that most of their next games will be new IP. And by switching from having a publisher to being a publisher, they will have a lot more creative freedom in what they want to make and the budget allowed and so on. So I think this is fantastic news across the board. Before we move on to the next slide, I want to say that a lot of people, including myself, had concerns with Bandai Namco's marketing strategies for Armored Core 6. It was really slow. It was a trickle of information at the beginning, but I think that in the end, they managed to pull it off. They didn't spare a dime. There was promotional buses, there were live streams with YouTubers, a lot of influencer marketing. So I think that Bandai Namco did pull it off right with Armored Core 6. Let's move on to the next slide. It says that by 2027, they want to expand the game development pipeline. They want to expand our development pipelines and add more IPs through strategic partnership and M&A activities. So the console games enhancement of development system, they want to increase the size of the development staff within the group by 20% or more. And that goes in line with the video I just made a few days ago, where I talked about the hiring spree that FromSoftware just did, where they are looking for possibly hundreds of new employees across a wide variety of positions. And if you keep reading, it says for mobile games, they want to add more titles, increase from 1 per year to 8. And if you look on the right, it says expand the global distribution capacity. Develop our readiness to expand the scope of FromSoftware's own publishing. And if you look below, it says strengthen our media mix through inter-business collaboration. So publication, video animation, wants to use IP based on game titles from console games, and then game media and events wants to translate into publication for mobile games. So they're trying to cross promote and just spread their IP across a wide variety of media, which is smart, obviously. Now, the last slide is in the FAQ section. It says, what is the development status of DLC for Elden Ring and when will it be released? And it writes, we are currently working hard on the development of DLC for Elden Ring, but we have not announced a release date at this time. Obviously, they don't want to give any information that the public could find that would spoil their plans. But I'm pretty confident that a reveal at the Game Awards is going to happen and that we should see a release before March 31st, 2023, as they mention in the report today. So that's it for the info. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so that way you're up to date on everything FromSoftware related, and I'll see you guys on the next one.